All right, this is my CAO interview. My name is Danny Rowe. This is for Dr. Harris's class. I had originally sought out our AVP of Academic Affairs, but he had some extreme family emergencies come up over the past couple weeks. So Dr. DeGiorgio, Dr. Joanne DeGiorgio Lutz is happy to fill in, and I'm excited to talk with y'all about some of the things she does for our university. Just quick background, her current position is the department head of liberal studies, which was a few years back when I started the university in 2009, was considered general academics, but now it's very, very streamlined. It's liberal studies. It covers several different degrees and different facets of the university, everything from mathematics, general chemistry, things like that. And then our maritime studies covers a wide variety of different subjects, but she's department head over that. Her education background is pretty diverse. I'll get into that in just a second, but she does have a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Maryland, and then she went to get her master's at Troy State University and her PhD at University of North Texas. All of these are in political science, and she spoke a lot about that. That's definitely her love, political science. So her previous position, she came over from University of Texas or Texas A&M University at Commerce. She was there for a few years. She was the department head over the political science department. And, before that, she was professor at University of Commerce. And then, as you can see, she was several different things there. But she was at SMU for a short while and the University of North Texas. So that career change from Commerce to Galveston, one thing is that she was overseeing a very specific degree, with political science. And now she is kind of juggling different things, definitely being over our liberal studies department, or list, as we call it here. That department, like I was saying earlier, it's very diverse, has a lot of different things that are running through it. We're a smaller university. We only have about 2,000 students or 2,500 students. But anyway, it's very small. So now she's dealing with a lot of different types of issues that come up. So like from analyzing math professors doing their research and then having somebody else like maritime studies doing their research, it's very different. So she has to look at different journals, publishing of the different fields, and again, like with any job, maintaining successful teamwork between so many different departments. I mean, it's one thing if you've got several different faculty members that are studying and researching kind of the same topic, but here she's over something that's completely diverse from that. So it's very interesting. She enjoys the challenges that come up with that, but they are just that, they're challenges. So going back to her background, her academic discipline is something that she discovered during her undergraduate. She had originally planned, from high school, I'm going to be a nurse. She was very excited about this. She went to school to be a nurse. And then one of her elective classes was political science. And that political science really led on to so many different things in her life. And she would not have had that if she didn't have electives. So that sparked her interest, and she was able to really run with that. And like I said, without electives, she wouldn't have found that out. And I'm sure a lot of us can kind of feel the same way. So she talked a lot about the issues facing higher education. When you get into an interview with somebody and you say, "Okay, tell me all the issues about your field," people tend to clam up, and she did it first, which was interesting to see. But we talked through a few different things that are happening both on our campus and in different higher education institutions. And one thing that she really talked about was forcing students to pick a major their first year. This comes from her own background. Like we said earlier, you know, she would not have been able to see where she wanted to go had she not had the electives. And especially with Texas, they're wanting to get students out of a 4-year university in 4 years. I mean, it's exactly that. You should be getting out of your undergraduate 4 years. They really want you to go through your master's 2 years. It's very structured. And with this restructure that's happening with the Common Core, what students are going to be taking, it leaves less electives in there. So students are not being able to really see what's out there, what universities are offering, what they might end up and love in a career. And they end up in careers that they, dislike a lot. And it all goes back to, I'm in a miserable job. I got this education that I feel like I was forced to get. And it leaves a bad taste in students' mouths. And you should love what you do. And so this is kind of one of the stems of the problems. She also talked about some of the majors that are graduating too many PhDs. She didn't want to come out and say it, but I can say, I've seen a lot through my time here at Texas A&M at Galveston. We're known for maritime and marine related degrees, and one of the big ones is marine biology. Well, we offer marine biology all the way from undergraduate freshman year to a master's program to a doctoral program. And we have a lot of doctoral students coming through for marine biology. There's not that many marine biology jobs out there. And what ends up happening is we're flooding the job pool with all of these doctoral students, PhD marine biology. And then the students that are coming through for their masters, they aren't able to get jobs unless if they go through it's a huge cycle. And this happens with a lot of different degrees, but this is just a common one on our campus. So the universities are feeling compelled to continue the cycle for funding because, your PhD students are the ones where you get the biggest, you get money back. The students are coming in, you're getting money for funding from the federal government or from private entities. So there is this cycle. There's a reason why universities want to continue it, but are we doing what's best for students? When we talked about shared governance and academic freedom, one thing that she really talked about was the transparency. So going back to being a department head of several different diverse faculty members, being able to show transparency is hard. So she talked about it kind of double-edged sword. It's hard for her to show transparency because there are different needs, and to be equal, you have to be equitable. So it's hard, but she did say it's really good to have transparency with that shared governance, and the fact that it just makes everything accountable is really great. So she liked that. And then academic freedom, when we talked about this, she really drove home giving faculty the opportunity to research what they want. That's what she saw as academic freedom. And so one example from her was when she was starting out as a professor, she was very interested in Palestinian political science. So one thing that the people around her in the poli-sci department, everybody would kind of not joke, but they would just assume that she was studying like terrorism, back in the 80s and the 90s, leading up to the crises that happened with terrorism and around the Middle East and everything. She was having a problem showing that she was not anti-Semitic. So with this, she was having a hard time. So even though she had the freedom to go and research what she wanted, she didn't always feel that support by other faculty members and, her department head. So she ended up, when it was brought up, okay, what are you studying? She would just say the Middle East, and that was it. But then, once things got bad in the U.S. and we're talking about 9/11 and stuff like that happening, she just decided, okay, I'm not gonna study this anymore. Not because she wasn't interested or because it didn't need to be done, because it definitely did need to be done. She was just tired of hearing um, hearing the same things and ultimately being blacklisted from a lot of her academic fellows. So some of the faculty concerns we talked about, sorry, there's an extra one on here. Not being paid enough. I'm sure we can all feel that at universities. We see the tuitions going up. We see these new academic buildings. We see everything that's happening with like football and different athletic programs, but the faculty members are still not being paid enough. So we're not able to keep the good faculty members because they're going to different states, different universities, to be paid more. I mean, we don't compensate enough. Also, the population of full time versus part time professors. This no, none of us know that this is new. It's obviously cheaper for a university to have part time faculty members where you're not paying benefits and you're just paying by course and things like that. But it really it's hard because then you're seeing all of this turnover rate. You're not seeing really good symmetry with the students and faculties and the relationships that they're able to build and the research that happens here. I mean, if you have more part-time than you have full-time, you're not getting the research that you need. And, our university is a research university, very big on research. So it's interesting. She was also talking with her department in particular. There's like a roller coaster, every 5 or 10 years, we see an influx of full-time faculty and a small amount of part-time faculty, and then you'll see that go back up and down with more part-time and less full-time. So it's very interesting, but that is definitely a concern that a lot of faculty members have. And finally, her advice for a position like hers: get thick skin. You know, you research what you're going to research, climb the ladder where you're going to climb it. Don't let anybody say, "Oh, you got this." One thing that she would always hear, "Oh, you got this because you're a woman." It's not about that. It's get thick skin, do what you got to do, and get the job that you want to get. To do so, you also have to think outside the box. Be creative with what you're doing, what you're researching, and who you talk to. Don't talk to the same siloed people. Get out there, meet new people. You have to know how to navigate multiple personalities and disciplines, especially for her position. But this goes for AVPs of academic operations. Obviously, I mean they're over all the different departments, and they have to be able to talk with, with the engineering types, and then with liberal studies types. I mean, you have to know how to talk with people. So, yeah, that was it. So, thank you.